Hey guys, this is Greg Pavarelli, or Gnice621 on Moto. I'm here showing you a modern Jund deck, very similar to the list that just top 8'd GP Columbus. You guys have actually seen this deck before. It is the exact cards that Chris, or Funky Dude 787, uploaded. Thanks to him for lending me the deck for the weekend so I could play a little bit. I'll be honest, I don't have much testing in this format, but I am very comfortable with decks like this. I have a lot of experience with these cards, and I've done a little bit of studying up, looked at a lot of the GP results and stuff like that. Run you through the deck really quick for those of you that haven't seen it. We got Inquisition of Kozilek, as well as Thoughtseize as your discard options. I personally love both of these cards. I think they're good against every deck in the format. Key, of course, against decks like Storm and Tron that you absolutely need to disrupt, but also vital against other decks getting rid of their counter spells or answers to your Tarmogoyf, etc. Dark Confidant, classic staple, probably one of the best 2-drops in Modern. Obviously needs to get dealt with immediately or it can win you games. Liliana, I don't know how I really feel about this card in a vacuum. She could be strong, but for the most part, not that impressive to me. Certain matchups she can be vital, but I think she's just versatile enough that she stays in the main deck, but probably gets boarded out against most decks, especially on the draw. Game 2, where she's especially slow. Got your Lightning Bolt. Gotta love Lightning Bolt. Important to kill Delver and various other creatures. Always good. Can go to the face. Help you win a game. Extra damage. Tarmogoyf. Probably the best creature. Printed in the last X amount of years. Best 2-drop ever. Gotta love it. It gets big fast in this deck. You have all kinds of spells and lands hidden in the yard. Maelstrom Pulse is probably a card that I wish I had more of. When Chris lent me the deck, I only took 2 from him, but I am kind of thinking I would want a 3rd main deck and a 4th sideboard. I guess testing is going to help figure that out. You know, not only do you have to get rid of things like Pyromancer's Ascension or Vidalcan Shackles or important cards like that that you don't have other answers to in the main deck, but I think it's just overall good against everything. It kills Wormcoil Engine when you need to get rid of that. Against Tron, it kills any win condition, and sometimes against token generating decks, it just wins you the game outright. You got Terminate. Not sure how much I like this card main deck either. I could potentially want to switch it to 4 Pulses main deck and put the Terminate sideboard. This guy is a one of, obviously. A 3/2 first striking body is never bad in a matchup where you don't really want to discard, but in the matchups where you do want to get rid of their hands, it's just juice. It can win you the game, especially if you can drop it down early like on turn 3. This is the deck's bread and butter. It's a abusable card. Cascade is obviously broken, and whenever you get a good Bloodbraid Elf, you can just steal matches. You got the 4 Kitchen Finks, which is probably higher than most people run, but it's probably for the moto metagame the best option. Protects you against burn decks and storm a little bit, and it's just versatile. It's good against everything. Life gains is very clutch. The 1 Jund Charm, lots of options. Sometimes you need to exile Storm's Graveyard. Sometimes you just need to kill a bunch of creatures. It's a pretty good spell. Sideboard, I think, has some holes as well. I'm thinking now that Affinity won the GP, we may eventually need more than 2 Ancient Grudges in the sideboard, because it's absolutely devastating to them. But so far I haven't seen too much Affinity. You got the Seal, which is just more versatile. Hits Pyromancer's Ascension, it's good against Affinity, good against anything with targets. 2 Obstinate Ballots, obviously for the aggro-ish decks. You got a Thrun that you bring in against Delver. The Duress, which you bring in against any other deck that this card is relevant. An extra Jund Charm and Terminate for the obvious decks like Pod or whatever else. The Fulminator Mages, really there just for Tron, but they're very important, especially since Tron is possibly one of the worst matchups. And the Grafdigger's Cages, which may even warrant a third copy of this considering how popular Pod is nowadays. Gotta be able to shut down Pod, and helps against Storm and various other uses. Overall, I think this deck is good, but not dominant in any way. It's probably tier 1.5. Has game against any of the decks in the format, but isn't overpoweringly good against any of them at the same time. Probably hope for 55-45 or 60-40 advantages or disadvantages against most of the popular decks, and what that really means is gotta play really tight. I don't think there's much room for mistake. Game in and game out. Yeah, I'm gonna try to play some 1 vs 1 queues, as well as hopefully getting some daily events to play this deck out and see how it works out.